Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda, and welcome to the Operation Freedom Briefings. The goal of my weekly show, Operation Freedom, and these intra-week briefings is to provide you with information the bought-off, lamestream, fake media will never touch. My weekly 3-hour live show, Operation Freedom, airs every Sunday afternoon from 2 to 5 Eastern and originates from our Freedom Bunker at WAAM Talk 1600 Studios in Ann Arbor, Michigan. The show expands upon the topics presented in these briefings and brings the most outstanding analysts in the world to your doorstep to dissect the topics the fake media avoids at all costs. The Sunday show can be streamed at davejanda.com, and the podcasts are available by late Sunday evening at davejanda.com for you to have access to and hopefully network to family, friends, neighbors, and colleagues. So let's look at the topics today, in particular one topic on our radar screen, and that is the issue of executive orders. Now, as many of you know that listen to the show, and the show has been in its inception since October of 2010, we have been pretty tough on the issuance of executive orders. And the reason is because executive orders that were implemented and instituted by the Obama administrations all seem to have the common denominator of stripping you and every American of your freedoms and your liberties. And it had nothing to do with the general welfare of the American public. So when Trump started to sign executive orders this week, and we'll go through a couple of them, many folks said, well, you know, Dave, this is really hypocritical because you were really hard on Obama about these executive orders, and you're kind of giving Trump a pass. Well, I'm not giving a pass. We hold everybody's feet to the fire. And understand something. From the very inception of the show Operation Freedom in October 2010, we focused on this is not a right-left axis issue. Stop that. That's a diversion. This is an up and down issue, up being freedom and down being oppression. And the powers that be work that up-down axis and try to divert your attention from the right, using the right-left axis to kind of get everybody beating up each other. And if they're beating up each other, it's a diversion to what they're really working on. And what they're working on is that up-down axis to strip you of your remaining freedoms and liberties. So when I look at Trump and listen to Trump on these executive order issuances, the key is it enhancing the freedom and liberty of every American? Well, let's look at a couple of them. First of all, the first thing he did, he issued an executive order as it relates to Obamacare, essentially cutting the individual mandate. Now, no surprise. From the very beginning, I have been an outspoken proponent or opponent for freedom, healthcare freedom, opponent of what Obamacare was about. And what Obamacare was about, it was not about increasing the availability and access or availability or quality of care. It was about taking control of the healthcare delivery system and stripping you of your healthcare freedom. How? Through the most egregious form of cutting healthcare costs. The rationing and denying of care. The foundation, the heart, the soul, the core of Obamacare was about the rationing and denying of care, the most unethical and inhumane means of cutting healthcare costs, whether it's done by an insurance company or a functionless bureaucrat that has no functional medical knowledge. It's all the same. The decision for care should be between the doctor and patient that occurs in the room. The insurance company or the government should be third parties. They should be outside the room, not inside the room dictating care. That's been our position since I graduated medical school in 1984. And we have the track record, both written and on TV and on radio, that supports the freedom of healthcare delivery. And that is completely based on that doctor-patient relationship. So what did Trump do? First order out of the box. He stripped the individual mandate that every person on Obamacare or isn't on Obamacare is to pay, the tax. Roberts, remember Judas Roberts, how he said, well, yes, it's a tax, but it really isn't a tax. He essentially rewrote the law. And we can get into that another time of what that was about. We've talked about it on the Operation Freedom radio show on Sundays before. The bottom line is that oppressive tax that was placed on folks to mandate them buying an inferior, expensive, quality-ridden product has been removed. Now, that can't be where it stops. Obamacare needs to be repealed and replaced immediately. Many people in the lamestream fake media will tell you, well, that's going to take months, years. Wrong. Go to my show from January 22nd, 2017. We had two guests on that week, that Sunday. David Powell, a independent insurance individual that sells insurance, but it's not part of the insurance industrial complex, if you will, and Dr. Chris Held, a healthcare policy analyst. We address, number one, what was wrong with Obamacare from a provider standpoint and from a patient standpoint. And then we address how this can be changed. And what comes out in those conversations is this. Obamacare can go away overnight. And we have something to put in its place overnight. Not in a week or a month or a year. And don't let these demagogues get to you and get in your head that they're going to make America sick again. No, we're going to make America free again. That's what this is about. So that executive order that Donald Trump signed right after he took the oath of office in the Oval Office helped liberate you from the powers that be. The powers that be, and don't think of them as Republicans or Democrats, they're globalists. The globalists, the criminal international banking syndicate New World Order owns 99% of the folks in D.C. And that is what Trump is battling. Executive orders can limit your freedom, but executive orders can also free you from the chains of globalist slavery that they've been wrapping around you, not just the past 8 years, but as far as I'm concerned, for many decades. Now, Ronald Reagan was a bit of a respite, bit of a break in that. It started long before him, and if you really want to go back to where it started, the crux of globalism in our country started in 1913 with the takeover of our monetary system done by the Federal Reserve, which is a private, independent entity that's owned and operated by the banking syndicate. So yeah, every executive order needs to undergo a microscope. Is this limiting your freedoms or is it enhancing your freedoms? That executive order by Donald Trump, when it comes to Obamacare, was the first step. And the other steps better come quick, or else a lot of us are going to be all over the administration. But it was the first step at giving you back your healthcare freedom. Thanks for listening. Remember, Operation Freedom, the show, airs every Sunday from 2 to 5 Eastern. I hope you'll join us and our wonderful guests that provide information the lamestream fake media will never get to because they're owned and operated by that same globalist system. 2 to 5 Eastern. Now, you're either in our listening audience in Southeast Michigan. We have a pretty good signal out of WAAM Talk 1600, based in Ann Arbor, the People's Republic of Ann Arbor. Or you can stream it at davejanda.com or WAAM radio.com or on the internet at 405 Radio, or you can go to TuneIn app on your phone, tune in, and then put WAAM, WAAM, and get it anywhere in the world. Follow us on Twitter at Dave Janda, or go to my handle on Twitter is DOCDHJ. If you want to be on our mailing list, Dave at WAAMradio.com. Until next week, This is Dave Janda signing off. Dream big and dare to fail.